Hello my friends, this is going to be a lovely calorie burning workout. We're going to need a couple of props or either a really good firm cushion. I have a yoga block, but basically anything, this is for some resistance work, basically anything that you can push against that has a bit of give. So something spongy, or so maybe a ball, an inflated ball, just anything that you can push against that gives some resistance. But if you've got nothing else to hand, then a nice firm cushion will be just fine. So to begin, we're going to start working on our stomach muscles and our pelvic floor, which men have too, and then we're going to move on to our glutes, and then we're going to do some thigh workout. So we're going to be working big muscle groups, because by working those big muscles, burn more calories. Simple. So to begin, we're going to start with our stomach, and it doesn't matter whether you feel you've got any movement happening or not. Just go with it, because by mentally thinking it, your brain is communicating to those muscles. So even if they're not moving as you'd like, they will still be working. So if you rest your hands on your thighs, get nice and tall, shrug those shoulders back and down. So what happens, we've now got a little bit of a curve. You're probably dumping into that lower spine. So what we need to do is pull our belly button in. So squeeze your belly button in as strongly as you can. Now, by pushing your hands down on your thighs, it will actually help resist against, and that will really help draw that stomach in. So breath in, and on an exhale, crunch the stomach in hard as you can. And by pressing down on those knees, you can really pull that belly button in and release. Now, when you're pushing down, don't be tempted to push the shoulders up. Keep those shoulders pinned down behind you. Have your crown of head pointing upwards. That will help encourage your posture. And then hands comfortably wherever they're resting. And take a breath in. And on an exhale, squeeze the belly button in and push down. Crunch it in, crunch it in, crunch it in, crunch it in. And release. So what we're going to do, every in-breath, we're going to get taller as we can and pull those shoulders down. And every exhale, we're going to crunch the stomach in. Okay, breathe in tall. Exhale, crunch, 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 crunch. Squeeze all the air out of you. Breathe in tall. Exhale, crunch. Push down on those thighs. Crunch, 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 crunch. Breathe in tall. Exhale, crunch, really squeeze the belly button in, press down on those thighs. Breathe in tall. Exhale, crunch it in, crunch, crunch, crunch. Breathe in tall. Pull those shoulders down. Exhale, crunch. The more you pull in the abs, pull, pull, pull. Breathe in tall. Shrug those shoulders down. Last one, make this one work. Crunch it in, keep crunching, squeeze out all the air. Keep pulling it in, even if you're empty of air. Keep pulling the abs in, keep pulling the abs in. Press down, press down, press down. Whew, and release. Gosh, you don't have to do much to get heart rate going, do you? Excellent. So, we've started to wake up our core. The next thing we're going to look at is our biggest muscle, our gluteus maximus, your bottom muscle. So how do we work this? We do it mostly with having to think about it. But what we're going to do is just by contracting and relaxing your buttock muscles, you'll be starting to work, as I said, it's the biggest muscle. So if you work on that, you are going to burn a lot more calories. Also, the glutes are fantastic because they're such a big muscle. They're also a big pump for getting circulation around, particularly down into your legs and feet. And obviously the third benefit is just better circulation. It's almost going to be a little bit of cardio, because it's going to make your heart work stronger to get all the blood around. So it's got multiple benefits, and all you have to do is squeeze your buttocks. So we're going to do the same principle as when we were working the stomach. So if you've got hands resting on your thighs, shrug those shoulders back and down, pull the abs in so you're not arching, and just squeeze your buttocks together. So like you're trying to squeeze them tight together, and you'll find you raise up slightly. So squeeze them together, and as you squeeze them together, press your hands down on those thighs and pull those shoulders down. Okay, so it's just as we've been working on the stomach, we'll do the same thing. So on your in-breath, you rise tall. On the exhale, you squeeze everything. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. If you connect pelvic floor, squeeze that too. That really helps. In fact, squeeze the abs in at the same time. Oh my goodness, you've probably grown an inch. And release. And breathe in. On an exhale, squeeze and crunch everything in. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. If you've got muscle shakes, that's even better. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release. Good. Take a breath in, get tall. Shoulders down. On an exhale, push down on those thighs. Squeeze the buttocks and the pelvic floor and the stomach. Just squeeze everything in. Crunch, crunch, crunch. And release. I'm getting muscle shakes. I don't know if you are. Muscle shakes are good. They're really good. So, again, breathe in tall. Shrug the shoulders back and down. On an exhale, squeeze the buttocks. Squeeze the stomach. Squeeze, squeeze hard as you can, pelvic floor, everything that you can find, just squeeze it. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And release. Bet you're feeling quite warm by now, you should do. Let's carry on, let's do a few more. So, breathe in, get tall, shrug those shoulders back and down. On an exhale, crunch the stomach, squeeze the pelvic floor and the buttocks, squeeze them so tight, 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 tight. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And release. And one more time, go on, you can do it. Hands on thighs, shrug the shoulders back and down. Get nice and tall on the in-breath. And on the exhale, start squeezing in those abs. Squeeze those buttocks so hard, you're shaking. Crush everything in that you can. Breathe through it. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And release. I am so hot, and I hope you are too. That's a really good sign. If you're getting all sweaty, that's a fantastic sign. So the next thing we're going to do, work our thighs. And we're going to do this. I said I have a yoga block, which are very inexpensive and easy to find. But grab a pillow or anything that you've got, as I said, that's got a little bit of give to it. Actually, also another thing is something like a rolled up blanket or something that's a bit cushiony that you can push against but will resist back a little bit. So, as ever, hands on thighs, get nice and tall, and get a little pelvic tuck so that you're not arching in the spine, that your spine is pointing downwards. And from here, we're simply going to squeeze. Breath in. Exhale, crush, 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 crush. Whatever's between your knees, give it a good squeeze, 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 squeeze. And release. Breathe in, sit tall, shoulders down. Exhale, crush it. Pull the belly button in. In fact, all the muscles been working, we'll all add them together. So do the stomach, pelvic floor, glutes and the thighs all at the same time by squeezing this. Are you ready? Breathe in tall, shrug the shoulders back and down, and crush everything that you can find. Just squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. Crush that between the thighs. And release. And again, breathe tall, shoulders back and down. And crunch it in, the abs, the glutes, the thighs. Crush, 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 crush. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And release. And again, oh yes, do this as many times as you like. If you find that you could do so much more of these, please feel free. And breathe in tall, shrug the shoulders back and down, crush in the abs, crunch those glutes, squeeze those thighs together, really squeezing and crunching anything that you can find down there. Crunch, 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 squeeze, 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 press. Whatever you're squeezing between the thighs, hard as you can, and release. Whew. I think you've got I've got it in you to do one more. Should we go for it? Make this the biggest, strongest squeeze, and the more often you do these, the stronger that you're going to get, and the crushing of the block or whatever, and those muscles contracting, it's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. So if you're struggling a little bit this time around, don't worry, do it a few more times and you'll find that the more often and the more repeats you do, you'll find each repeat the muscles seems to get stronger and stronger. So here we go. Breathe in, sit tall, shrug the shoulders back and down, crush the abs, crush the blocks, squeeze the glutes, squeeze everything. Squeeze, 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 and release. Whew. So this will really help, particularly if you find that you are having to be sedentary, that these muscles still need working, help your circulation, and also just strength build where maybe you can't do weight bearing by standing. At least you can build up strength in other ways. So I'm not finished yet. So we've been doing some seated stuff. Let's go onto our backs. You might find that a sofa is not suitable, that you need to be on a bed. So feel free to pause this and then continue this part when you're in the right place. But otherwise, if you're to swing up your legs, we're just going to do a little bit more on the stomach. So scooty along. And then with your resistance pillow or block or whatever you have found, just lie back down, bend the knees, bring the block between the knees. Lovely. And we're just going to try and squeeze the block again, but in this different position. So you're going to engage those same muscles. You're going to pull the stomach in. We're going to squeeze the glutes, and we're going to squeeze the thighs and the pelvic floor. If you don't know what the pelvic floor is, when you're engaging all those other muscles, it will probably be engaged anyway. So here we go. Take a breath in. On an exhale, pull down the belly button and squeeze your glutes and squeeze your thighs. Try and crush whatever it is. Squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze. Release. Breathe in. Exhale, squeeze. Squeeze it all in, squeeze it all up. Anything that you can find below the waist, just crunch, crush, contract. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And release. Take a breath in and exhale, crush it, squeeze it, whenever you can, just crush, 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 and release. A few more times, here we go. Take a breath in, exhale, squeeze, pull down the abs, squeeze those glute muscles, those buttocks, squeeze those thighs together, squeeze, 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 and release. If you need to have a break, please have a break at any point. If you find that you can't have your legs up, just have them down like this. You can still engage everything. Just squeezing something between your knees will engage those muscles, okay? So if you need to have your feet down, please do. Otherwise, if you're able to lift your feet up on the floor, you want their shins parallel. And here we go, a couple more times. Breathe in. Exhale, crunch, squeeze, crush everything. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Pull down those abs, squeeze those buttocks. Squeeze, harder, harder, harder. And release. That, my friends, is probably enough. Well done. So, as a final, I haven't got my little scarfy thing today, which is remiss of me, but if you have your scarf, you can use it to pull your thighs in, give it a little rock and a stretch. That'll help release any glutes, release any tension in the tummy. Just have a nice gentle rock and then a roll. Massage that spine and reverse. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And you may want to spend the rest of the time here, I know I would, but if not, gently, gently, gently Get yourself back up. And we'll do a spinal stretch. Breathe in. If you can, hold the elbows, get tall. If not, link behind, pull up that chest, tuck that tailbone, have a little stretch. Link the fingers in front, or if you've got a scarf, you can use a scarf. Crunch. Really squeezing those abs around those shoulders. And then breathe in tall. And well done if you managed to go through all that. As I say, you can do as many repeats of those as you like. If you find initially that 1 or 2 is enough, then just start with that. And the more often you do it, so you'll build up that muscle strength and you'll be able to do more repeats and just have fun with it. So as ever before, please add any comments below to help guide me to give you what you would like. And also I would be very grateful if you subscribe to my channel, and it'll help me keep bringing more free videos to you all. Thank you.